Up next on Connections, the latest on the funding battle and how it will affect CTA riders. Making the most of your time and money, there's new one-stop shopping at CTA headquarters. We'll show you the new series of environmentally friendly buses making their way onto the CTA fleet. If you've been using a Chicago card since they were introduced, it's time to renew. We'll explain how to quickly and easily get your new card. And it's been called one of the city's great destinations. Come along as we take the CTA to the National Museum of Mexican Art. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality and its riders. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. It's been a nerve-wracking few weeks for the CTA and its customers. We've all been waiting for a resolution to the mass transit funding shortfall here in Illinois. Well, we're still waiting. There's been a temporary reprieve, but no long-term resolution to the CTA budget crisis. And the CTA will still be forced to go forward with fare hikes, service cuts, and layoffs if a long-term solution is not reached. On September 14th, the RTA accepted Governor Rod Blagojevich's offer of a $24 million advance of 2008 funding to the CTA. That came just 2 days before the September 16th deadline to implement fare hikes, service cuts, and layoffs. November 4th is the new deadline. Though the deadline is changed, the CTA's message is the same.
The CTA is terribly concerned about the hardship that this will cause everyone in the metropolitan area. It will mean higher fares for people who find it difficult to pay the fares that we have. It will mean reduced service. The CTA does not want to do this. There is no part of this plan that the CTA wants to do, and we have been working very hard, and we have been trying to avoid it.
The CTA implemented $38 million in administrative cuts and negotiated a groundbreaking arbitration award with its unions.
Am I disappointed? Terribly disappointed. CTA made a lot of sacrifices, did a lot of compromising, asked our union and our membership to compromise and make sacrifice so that we could come to the table with a proposal that was responsible, fiscally effective, and that dealt with our pension and health care needs.
We've made those changes, we've put those changes forward. And so we believe we've done everything that we can. We continue to look for any innovative ways that we can manage ourselves better.
Fare hikes, service cuts, and layoffs remain the only option for the CTA should the legislature not take action by the new November 4th deadline. It is the same scenario customers faced September 16th. The elimination of 39 bus routes, the layoff of more than 600 CTA employees, and fare hikes. Bus fares will rise to $2 for people using a Chicago Card, Chicago Card Plus, or Transit Card. Those using cash will pay $2.50. Rail fares will rise to $2 with Chicago Card and Chicago Card Plus, or $2.50 off-peak and $3 peak for those using transit cards or cash. Transfers remain the same at 25 cents. Prices for unlimited ride passes will increase from $5 to $6 with the one-day pass. The 7-day pass will go from $20 to $23, and the 30-day pass increases from $75 to $84. Fares for reduced fare customers will not change. The $5 fee for Chicago Cards and Chicago Card Plus are being waived throughout September and October to encourage riders to take advantage of the lower fares offered on those cards. So what do riders do in the meantime while waiting for Springfield to take action? Just what they did before: exercise patience and the right to contact state leaders.
I think that our riders were wonderful in contacting their legislative leaders, in contacting their representatives, their senators, to let them know how important transportation and the CTA was to them.
We feel that we are together with our riders, fighting together to make our voices heard in Springfield, and so that we can get the funding that we need to avoid these cuts, not just for right now, but to avoid these cuts in the future and put the CTA in a sound financial state.
Everything you need to know about the new fare structures and service changes is on our website, www.transitchicago.com. The CTA welcomes a new tenant to its headquarters building at Lake and Jefferson. And this is a tenant who knows a little something about the transit business. It's the RTA, and it's a lease agreement that should agree with most everyone.
You are in the RTA's Customer Service Center, and we're very excited. We just relocated here on August 2nd.
Customers doing business with the CTA and RTA can now do it at one location. The RTA has opened a Customer Service Center at CTA headquarters on Lake and Jefferson. The RTA entrance is just south of the CTA's main entrance.
And we moved here, and we decided to come here for the customers. We wanted ease of use because this is really a great opportunity for the CTA customers and RTA customers to have coordination. We had some regular customers at 175, and they really love it here at 165. They say it's more spacious, more customer friendly. The fact that we're right off the street and we're easily accessible with the green line or the pink line, we'll get off at the Clinton station, or they can take the 56 Milwaukee bus and also get here.
The new location processes reduced fare applications and replacement permits.
Here at the RTA Customer Service, we process applications for persons with disabilities and seniors age 65 and older.
There you go. We'll mail your card to you tomorrow. You should receive it by next week.
We also have customers that come here to obtain replacement permits for customers who have lost their cards. We have several registration centers for people who are unable to get to 165 North Jefferson. They can also visit one of our registration centers, and they can contact our helpline number at 312-913-3110 to get the location of the nearest registration center.
The Lake and Jefferson location also has a Metra fare machine. There are also 3 trip planning kiosks.
It will allow customers to actually plan their trips from point A to point B, and it will print out the information for them.
CTA Customer Service is open 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. The RTA Sales Center is open 8:30 to 5. Later this year, PACE will begin selling TAP vouchers at the RTA Customer Service Center. TAP stands for Taxi Access Program, a program for paratransit customers. Just ahead on Connections, a rollout of the latest hybrid buses. How optimistic are you about Springfield coming up with a long-term solution for CTA's budget problems?
Well, I think personally, that I'm optimistic because I think that Chicago being the hub that it is, a lot of the money that's generated throughout the state of Illinois originates in Chicago. So I think that they have to release that money. They have to produce that money so that people can get to work.
I have to ride. So whatever happens, I have to deal with it because I have to ride it because I don't drive anything.
The money's going to come. If they want the Olympics in 2016, they're going to come up with it.
I think they're going to have to find a way. I think it will, because otherwise it's just going to lead to more problems and people are going to get more angry at things.
Well, if they happen to come up with it after all these years, I don't see how they're going to come up with it now, really, to be honest with you. Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. The work to expand capacity on the Brown Line continues to move along. Here's some proof of the progress. The new northbound platform and track are now in service at the Belmont Brown Red Purple Express station. The new configuration is just east of the old platform and track.
The new track 4 at Fullerton was placed in service earlier this spring, and now we've just placed the new track 4 at Belmont in. We have to progress further to the west to get the new tracks 3, 2, and then the new track 1 in to complete all 4 tracks for those two stations. Their pathway to the platform is a little different now at Belmont Station. If they're going southbound, they travel one way to get to the platform, and if they're traveling northbound, they have to take a little different route because there's a new stair that's open, and there's just a different path for them to access the platform. But there's signage up, and it's really not that difficult.
The reduction from 4 to 3 tracks at the Belmont and Fullerton stations has been less disruptive than people anticipated. Riders have heeded the CTA's advice to leave early, leave late, and alternate. However, now that summer is over, there may be more crowding on the platforms, but the CTA is ready.
Basically, through the AM and PM rush hour, we have at least 3 supervisors in that area, in the 3-track area, and 1 manager. And that's AM and PM, just to assist the customers.
And customers need to know about a new temporary station entrance at Armitage. The temporary station is on the south side of Armitage, just across from the old station. The old station is being rehabbed. When complete, the station will have all the modern CTA amenities, but still retain its historic facade and character. The CTA is on time and on budget with the expansion project.
We're just moving forward and trying to get it done as fast as we can and get this thing over with so we can go back to normal service.
Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project will make all stations along the line accessible to those with disabilities. Longer platforms along the line will allow the CTA to run 8-car trains during peak periods. The older platforms only allow for 6 cars. A new series of environmentally friendly hybrid buses are on the street. The CTA is testing these buses and comparing drive systems for performance. The goal? Improved air quality and providing reliable service.
Right now we're standing inside of the CTA's very new diesel-electric hybrid bus. The bus was built by the New Flyer Corporation out of Winnipeg, Canada, and has in it an ISE drive assembly for the hybrid portion of it.
The ISE drive assembly is what separates this new bus from the Allison hybrid buses that took to the streets of Chicago in December.
The Allisons were what's known as a parallel drive system, and that's closer to what you have in the car, where the bus actually runs off of diesel engine and electric motors, and those are blended depending on the torque requirements and the speed requirements that the bus has at any time.
The ISE system runs on electric all the time. There's no blending of the diesel and electric motors.
I think they're pretty equivalent, both fuel economy-wise and emissions-wise.
The CTA is testing both types of hybrid buses to see which, if either, is a good fit for Chicago. 10 ISEs will join the 10 Allison buses already deployed. The Allisons have tested very well so far.
The first batch, the Allisons, are running extremely well. Our fuel economy numbers are in the 25% improvement range over a regular diesel bus, and the reliability has been phenomenal on them.
Seattle, Washington has several hundred Allison hybrids. The ISE hybrids are relatively new.
The ISEs, that's a newer product to the marketplace, and bus manufacturers have just started with the integration. We're one of the first diesel-electric ISE procurements that was out there.
There are very few visible differences between the Allison hybrid buses and the ISE series. There's a slight size difference between the so-called turtle shells that house the electric components of the buses. The overall ride is the same. Both hybrids are quieter than diesel buses.
The passenger really doesn't notice any difference to the bus except that it runs a little bit quieter. That's really about it. The operator will notice that the acceleration is better. There's not the lag that you would normally get out of a regular transmission on acceleration. And other than that, even the operator shouldn't notice too much different. And that's the whole idea of the hybrid. It integrates seamlessly into the bus.
By winter, there will be a total of 20 hybrids in the CTA fleet, 10 ISEs and 10 Allisons. How they perform in Chicago's variable weather extremes is one thing the CTA will consider. The CTA will also consider the ecological and economic benefits of the hybrids. Hybrids are considerably more expensive than diesel buses.
Part of the evaluation will be what value does it provide for the bus, and that will include emissions reduction, it will include fuel economy, and it will also include the overall upcharge to add the hybrid feature to the bus.
The CTA was the first transit agency in the region to use ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel in its buses. That's been a major contributor to air quality improvements.
Still to come, a progress report on eliminating slow zones.
On an average weekday, the CTA provides 1.6 million rides, getting people where they need to go around Chicago and the 40 surrounding suburbs. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the trip planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The trip planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code.
The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
The CTA is rapidly putting the rapid back in rapid transit. One by one, slow zones on the Blue Line are falling victim to an ambitious campaign to reconstruct stretches of track that are stretching travel times and testing patience.
From frustratingly slow to efficiently fast, Blue Line riders are zipping along a section of track formerly designated a slow zone. The CTA is now up to speed between Damon and Clark and Lake.
The Dearborn subway is what's been fixed, and both northbound and southbound will be restored to 55 miles per hour, and the slow zone will literally go from 15 miles per hour to 55 miles per hour, so our customers should see a much faster commute on the Blue Line.
The passenger will definitely be satisfied with the increase of the speed. These slow zones have been removed due to the construction work we've been doing for the last 10 weeks.
Concrete ties are replacing decaying wood ties. The new ties allow trains to resume normal speeds. The work is part of an aggressive plan to eliminate slow zones. The next set of tracks to be repaired are on the slow zone stretch from Jefferson Park to O'Hare.
We're excited to say we're ahead of schedule, we're on budget, and what that will mean to our customers is a faster Blue Line ride.
Red Line riders are getting relief too. The CTA is also working to eliminate slow zones on that line as well. For the latest update on what's happening with the Slow Zone Elimination Project, go online to www.transitchicago.com and click on the scrolling Slow Zone link. If you're one of the visionaries who snapped up a Chicago card when they first came out 4 years ago, it's time to get a new one. The original batch of Chicago cards expire in October.
The CTA's convenient and economically efficient Chicago card. It was introduced in 2003, and ever since, it has been a popular transit accessory for hundreds of thousands of CTA customers. Now, many of those first cards issued are expiring, and it's time to renew.
All cards expire 4 years after they're activated. The very first number of Chicago cards begin to expire on October 17th.
Registered Chicago card customers who've used their cards at least once in the past 12 months will get new cards delivered in the mail. If your card is registered but you haven't used it in the past year, the CTA will send you a letter outlining your options. If you didn't complete the registration process or don't remember if you registered, it's still easy to renew. The first thing you need to do is check the expiration date of your card. There are 3 ways to do that. Call 1-888-YOUR-CTA, log into the Chicago Card website, or simply swipe it through a passenger information unit located at most CTA stations. If you still have money left on your expiring Chicago card, you can have it transferred to your new card. You do that by calling 1-888-YOUR-CTA or drop by CTA Sales Service Center at CTA headquarters at Lake and Jefferson. If you simply need a new card and don't have value to transfer, go online.
You want to go to www.chicagocard.com and go to Chicago Card homepage. Click on the expiring cards link.
The online location also allows customers to upgrade from a Chicago card to a Chicago Card Plus.
One of the features we do have available online is that you can upgrade to our Chicago Card Plus. The Chicago Card Plus was introduced a year after Chicago Card. And the Chicago Card Plus is a little different because if you have an email address and a valid credit card or debit card, you can actually manage your account online.
And the customer can change their fare preferences, they can suspend their account on their own if they're not going to be in town. They could, just do all kinds of stuff they can't do with a Chicago card.
There is never a fee to replace an expired card. And through October, the CTA is waiving the $5 purchasing fee for first-time buyers. That's to encourage more people to take advantage of the speed and savings the cards afford.
One of the best features about the Chicago Card and the Chicago Card Plus is that you get a 10% bonus for every $20 you put on the card.
Up next, a Chicago museum you've just got to see for yourself.
That's enough. All right. I've got enough. Come on! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What the heck? Man!
Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
If you love color and culture and art, then hop on the CTA's number 18 bus. It'll take you right through the heart of the Pilsen community and straight to its treasured National Museum of Mexican Art.
This is a very special year for the museum. We've been around for 20 years. Our former name was Mexican Fine Arts Center Museum, and our new name is National Museum of Mexican Art. So this title change was primarily due to our celebration of our 20th year.
From a one-room gallery to an internationally acclaimed museum, it's been a remarkable 2 decades for the National Museum of Mexican Art. The museum is located on the 1800 block of West 19th Street in the heart of the Pilsen community. There's limited parking at the museum, but the museum and other neighborhood attractions are well served by the CTA.
When people come and visit our museum, it's, they come and visit the artwork and they see a lot of the exhibitions on display, but it's more than that. By us being here in Pilsen, we're inviting everybody to see culture, alive. You can go eat down the street and have some enchiladas or chiles rellenos, or turn on the other street and there's beautiful murals made by artists from the community. So it's very rich.
Museum visitors learn about Mexican culture through art, both ancient and contemporary.
We now have one permanent exhibition space, which is the one that we're in. It's called Mexicanidad, Our Past is Present. And this exhibition traces the history of Mexican culture. This exhibition traces history in a chronological manner, so you're going to come in right away, and the first section is the pre-Cuauhtémoc, or also referred to as the pre-Columbian section. You're going to find any reference there to indigenous. After that, we have the colonial Mexico section. Then our third section is independence to revolution. Fourth section is post-revolution to the present. And our fifth section is actually very important. It's the Mexican experience in the U.S.
New to the museum is a painting depicting Mexico's most revered icon.
We have also another piece as of a couple of months ago, Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is a colonial work of art by Miguel Cabrera, one of the most famous colonial painters in Mexico, that is also becoming very, very popular, especially with the people from the community.
Here's another popular piece, a traditional rendering of the Aztec warrior and princess.
And there's a beautiful legend that goes along with that, a legend of love very similar to Romeo and Juliet. So that's probably one of the more famous ones.
This is a child-friendly museum with lots to stimulate imagination and learning.
The children actually love the folk art section. They love anything in miniature, and they actually love the golden retablo that is in the colonial section. There's just so much information there, and information that could be deciphered by children.
All these pieces are part of the museum's permanent collection. Throughout the year, there are many temporary exhibits.
Here's a really unique exhibit at the museum. Artists have turned this gallery into a traditional Mexican-American home. Visitors are encouraged to come in, sit down and relax, and watch a film depicting relationships between Mexican mothers and their daughters.
Our next exhibition this fall is Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, A New Beginning. And this is our annual Day of the Dead exhibit that takes place in the fall. So we're going to have an opening on September 28th, and it runs through the first week of December. That is definitely our blockbuster exhibition when we break all records for attendance for school groups. We get almost 600 school groups coming in through our doors.
The National Museum of Mexican Art is open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is free, but still bring money. There's lots to spend it on at the museum gift shop.
This is the station for coming and stocking up on folk art, especially for beautiful accents and decorations for the home.
Gift items, as well as information on exhibits and collections, are available on the museum's website, www.nationalmuseumofmexicanart.org.
The Chicago Tribune recently named the National Museum of Mexican Art one of the top places to see in Chicago before you die. And there's no excuse not to see it. Besides the number 18 bus, the number 50 Damon bus will drop you off 1 block from the museum. And then there's the Pink Line. Just get off at 18th Street and walk 2 blocks west. Connections is available on demand 24 hours a day. You can now subscribe to the Connections video podcast and automatically receive each month's program absolutely free. There are several ways to find us. Go to www.transitchicago.com and click on Connections. You can also go directly to the iTunes Music Store and search the words CTA Connections. You can either choose a specific episode for instant viewing, or you can subscribe once and automatically download new shows each month. Like all video podcasts, Connections can be viewed directly on your computer or laptop, or can be viewed on a portable device such as the Video iPod.
Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
We're always looking for story ideas. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share? How about a hidden Chicago gem that's served by the CTA? Let us know about it. Call the Connections hotline at 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections. I'm Jean Sparrow. Thanks for watching.